They're all pouring in now.
And the first issue is approval of minutes from December 20th.
No. Oh, I make a motion to approve the minutes of December 20th. You want to do them both at the
I
same
second,
time?
the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of January 3rd, 2022.
I approve.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Would you like me to shut this down? We're getting an echo. Or Kathy, do you want to shut yours down? Or
We're getting, yeah.
what? Can you shut your volume down?
It's not, the.
One of us has to.
It's not, sometimes it's not drawing.
Can you mute it?
I have it
Yeah.
unmuted.
Now we can't hear you guys.
Yeah, one has to be on.
Yeah.
Kathy,
I only see Kathy and Dana's computer,
and
only two. I don't see Sarah's.
I didn't get there yet, but I think Kathy has to be on so that it.
Yeah, why don't we share with two?
Or John. One of those people wants to, I just turned all of those things off.
Oh, ours is on too.
We're having a lot of problems here with this.
There's a lot of sound.
Yeah. Okay, so just this one.
Hello. And you've got an ear for each of them.
I think people on are not muted.
That could be.
Is your audience muted, Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, she's
That's
muted.
the reverberation I think we're hearing.
Sorry, I muted myself. They can't talk. We're in a webinar.
Yeah, so it's a webinar, so they can't talk.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll give it a shot.
Okay, let's carry on. So first is the announcement and award of the Opalani Park grant from the DCNR in the amount of $250,000. Bear with us a second. Let's try to get this straight. Is there anything
Yeah.
we can do at all?
I have no idea.
So
what to do.
Dana shuts hers down.
Well, then Bernie won't be heard.
We can put the microphones back on.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay,
Okay. You hear me?
Still there.
can you hear?
Can you hear?
Yeah, but there's an echo.
Yeah. You hear the echo on this side too.
Yeah, but that's still on. You didn't log off, Dana, leave the webinar.
Okay.
That's what I mean by going on. Doesn't matter, it's the electronics, not the receiver and the camera.
So they won't see it.
Well, but Kathy's got all of us now.
That's better.
Mark,
Okay, great. All right.
can you hear Bernie?
Problem solved.
There you
Very
go.
Yeah,
good.
I can hear Bernie. If he speaks up, we can hear him.
Very good. Does the microphones being on help?
Oh,
Yes.
are they on?
Yeah, they are.
They are now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sounds
That's
good.
good.
Let's see if that doesn't do as far as my voice. Okay.
Much better. Actually, where it was better before. Yeah, there.
Yeah, I want Kathy to be able to see if you guys need something.
I'll just tell her.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Michelle, let me know, because she's monitoring it for me, so.
Second announcement, intent to submit a grant application to Chester County to support the Opalani Park improvements. John, do you want to speak to that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The county has an open grant application for recreation improvements. I'm going to recommend that the board submit an application to the county for supplement the DCNR grant, which is for the fishing pier, a walking trail, a gazebo, tot lot, and several other improvements at the park. Part of the application process for the county is the public participation program. We'll be posting a notice on the website probably by the end of the week, seeking public input. The Park and Rec Board, the Planning Commission, and the EAC will also have this on their agenda for their committee meetings. And there'll most likely be a public hearing on the matter at the next board meeting before the board actually submits the grant application to the project. So, also we're seeking concurrence on the project as currently funded by DCNR, but we'd also accept other public comments and suggestions for other improvements at the park. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We'll request about $250,000, which is the maximum amount that the county application is will fund. And if we're awarded that amount, that'll bring the total grant funding for the park project to $500,000.
Wow, that's incredible. Good work. Thank you. Okay, so I have an announcement here. The next announcement is that the Board of Supervisors has postponed the February 7th, 2022 workshop presentation on the trails until a later date.
So we can
Okay.
meet first.
Until we can meet in person. Thank you. All right,
Okay.
moving on.
We have a
Report.
question. Hang on.
Oh.
Second. There we go. Oh, I think it was answered. What is the funding amount requested? John, you answered that, right?
I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought we were.
We weren't taking,
Is that when we have another workshop for any other reason? Or is
No.
that definitely not?
I believe we made a policy for the webinars that we would collect questions and answer them at the next meeting, like we did for the organization meeting. Do you want to take them like this?
I don't think that you understood her question. Her question was, can we meet in a workshop on February 7th for something else, other issues?
Or we just cancel?
I think it was set up for that specific purpose. If you have a specific purpose of a project, you would want to brief to the board, but it wouldn't just be a program. So it would be a committee saying, I've got something to share, or a consultant having something that they want to. It's a board meeting. It's not a public forum unless we invite them. So it's really another board meeting. So we said we don't have a workshop planned for that date, and
But we still could plan when some other issue comes up that we need it for.
Or you need a month notice or?
no, well, except that we have to advertise it. So
Right.
Okay, all right, moving on, reports. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. During the month of December, the police department responded to 131 calls for service. We investigated 9 crimes. There were 3 arrests, and we had 7 accident investigations. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Bills list. Michelle?
Do you guys have the amount in front of you? Because I left that sitting on my desk.
Okay.
I can get it though, if you don't.
Total
have it.
bills,
Number 2.
$2,992,019.95. And we have invoices to be ratified of $2,755,134.86.
The bulk of that is the year-end transfers that
Yep,
were approved at the last meeting.
correct. Very good. Treasurer's report.
So the treasurer's report is a little delayed due to a bank error. And then S&T getting the statements late to us. So I was unable to reconcile both general fund and open space,
Okay, thank you.
but I will have it up this week.
Yep, okay, very good.
It'll be posted on the
yeah,
website.
Very good. Thanks, Michelle. I
You're
skipped over
welcome.
a motion to approve the bills list.
I will make that motion to approve the bills list in, oh, is this sheet? Kathy's straightening me out. To, $2,992,000, $19.95, I'm sorry, 2992019.95.
Second motion. All in favor? Aye. Okay, managers report. John?
Mr. Chairman, I spent a fair amount of time working with the Parks Board and Mike on the road program. A fair amount of time on the road program. You'll be getting to that on the agenda. I was out for a little bit of time in December again for some medical issues that delayed a lot of my work. But a lot of my work is reflected on the agenda as well. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Did Kirk have a question, Michelle?
No, he just made a comment that he's not a fan of this format, the webinar, because he can't see the residents that are online.
Oh, okay. Well, thank
That's
you.
all. You're welcome.
All right.
Sarah, did you want to hear all the questions now, or are we
Yeah.
taking note of them like last meeting?
I don't think we made a decision because we were worried about the workshop date. I asked the question, but we talked about the workshop.
Yeah.
Well, that was just the reorg meeting we did that for.
Well, except it's possible since we set this one up as a webinar again, I wanted to confirm.
Okay.
So you guys, do you want to take, we have 22.
Yeah, Sarah's correct there. We have a large agenda tonight, and if we start taking questions, we could be here till midnight. So I would think that, Mark, is it okay that we not take questions here tonight?
Well, you have public comment on non-agenda items, that's at the end of the agenda. I would suggest that if you wanted to take public comment all at once on agenda items, then we would do that at the beginning of the start of the agenda items, rather than taking it piecemeal as you go through the agenda.
Okay, all right, so we'll do that. I think that's going to be more efficient. So save your
Wait
questions.
until the end.
Yes, save questions
Okay.
till the end, and then
Thank you.
we'll address them.
Okay.
Next item is old business. So the authorization to retain no more than 3 consultants with experience and knowledge of timber frame barns at a cost of less than $10,000 to assess the frame of the barn here at the Township building. I don't know.
We must have a motion.
So, yes, we're looking for a motion.
I make a motion to authorize retaining no more than 3 consultants with experience and knowledge of timber frame barns at the cost of less than $10,000 to assess the frame of the barn.
Do we have a second?
For public information, this is looking to making the barn safer so that we can take advantage of a big structure for storage of equipment and materials here at the Township campus.
Okay, Dana second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next on the item is resolution number 6, closing out the contract with Reclaim for demolition of structures at the Opalani Park.
I make the motion to adopt Resolution 6-2022, closing out the contract with Reclaim for demolition of the structures at Opalani Park.
And Dana seconds. John, can I ask you to just explain what's happening here?
Yes. As said, indicated before, the town administration is really interested in securing the use of the upper part of the park that was subject to the demolition. There's a little bit of grading at the top that needs to be filled in with, there's some low spots, a little bit of topsoil and some seeding. The township, we feel that Mike Hogan and I both feel that the township is in a better position to do that work. However, the we made a proposal to the contractor to close out the contract. He would remove the fence and silt fence, and close out the NPDS permit, and he would retain the balance of the contract, but the township would retain $7,000, which would be used for the topsoil and seeding. And this agreement, which was negotiated by the solicitor, solidifies that agreement. So if you have questions about the agreement, talk to the solicitor. He's much more knowledgeable about that than I am. That's the framework. We then, once the fence is removed, we'll have access up there and the park will be open and we can do a little more work on it. And the public can have access to that top part of the park now that they can't because of the fence there. It's still under construction.
Very good, thank you. I have a question, Mark. Is there a timeline for this once we vote on this tonight?
So once you approve it, the timeline would be based on the township's closing out of the NPDS permit. That's the key to the closeout moving forward. So once we approve it and it's signed by both parties, then the township engineer would file the necessary application with the conservation district to move that process forward. Once the conservation district gave its approval to remove, I think John mentioned there's still fences and still socks out there. Reclaim would do that, and then we would process the final end of the NPDS. Once that happens, we would provide what's called the retainage under the contract back to Reclaim, and we would essentially be done. I understand that would take probably 1 to 3 months.
1 to 3 months. Okay.
It depends on how long the conservation district would take.
Okay.
Processing the
All right,
application.
we can hope
Yes.
foul weather will be over by then and move forward.
Right, and then the contract, and then the township can seed in the spring. I mean, that was kind of the key to it.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else from the board? Then we'll move to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So next on the list is the resolution number 7, preliminary and final plan approval, TC Energy 310 Fellowship Road. Have a motion?
I could make that motion to adopt resolution 7-2022, approval of preliminary final plan for TC Energy 310 Fellowship Road.
Okay. A second? In a second. Mr. Granger, could you just fill us in on what that is about?
Yeah, Ed's not there.
I think we might ask Ed to do it.
Yeah, Ed would be the
Ed's
better
here.
person.
Oh, okay.
Ed's there.
Yeah, he wrote us the letter about it.
Want us to turn the mic around for you?
Okay, well,
You loud.
Sure. We could
Just
turn the
speak
mic around
loudly.
if you want.
Basically, the resolution is for preliminary plan approval with conditions. I think the resolution Mark prepared outlines those conditions. The main one being the open issues in the LTL review letter. And basically, the plan is substantially complete except for the listed items. And there's several waivers that are part of that plan. That's just a brief summary. The applicant has complied substantially with the township requirements. We went through, kind of a lengthy review process till the issues were ironed out, and it's, in my opinion, it's ready to move forward with the resolution and the conditions.
okay.
And just to supplement what Ed said, there were a couple lighting issues that were really the primary open issues, I think, that could be addressed, that you pointed out in your letter. That's a specific provision in the resolution that those issues be addressed. During the conditional use process, issues related to stormwater and Fellowship Road were extensively discussed and conditioned. They have agreed to those conditions, and we have put again in this resolution that they have to comply with those conditions. So I think we tried to button this up as much as we can from a plan approval standpoint.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so all in favor? Aye. Moving on, new business. Acknowledge receipt of subdivision land development plan for Hot House Timberton LLC Urgent Care at 986 to 990 Pottstown Pike. I have a question here on this. There is a landlocked parcel, which I believe is 986, and then the 990 has road access. So my question is, what's going to happen to that second parcel that's landlocked if the one that's open to the street is?
I don't think that's the right parcel. I just am looking for what Brian Curry sent today about the parcels, because, you know, he does my homework. So he's got this parcel and that parcel outlined.
Right.
It's not a landlocked parcel there.
This is, that's landlocked.
Well, except that it has access through the other one. They're making a deal on the two of them.
Okay, so those two parcels are going to be bought by the same entity and.
Yeah, further down in his email, he's got the other one outlined.
And if that entity ever wanted to sell that second parcel, once again, it's landlocked.
It would depend on what conditions we might put on it during our review and approval of whatever they want to do there.
Okay, do you understand the issue here?
I'll show you what I did.
Related to the number 8 on the agenda. So that's the one we're talking about.
Right, and it's really, this is something that Ed will review and the planning commission will review, and we'll get it later. And we can always make sure we see this parcel is the one Bernie's concerned about, the long rectangle that does not touch
I
100.
see that.
But the second parcel is the one with long frontage. So I think by the time we're done reviewing it, we will have solved that problem for
And
ourselves.
both
and future.
parcels are part of the subdivision?
Yeah, those are the two that they want to put in a urgent care kind of place. They've got one, same business as open one in Pemberton that seems to be pretty well accepted.
I don't want to stick my nose in the owner's business, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we're not agreeing to something that we shouldn't be, because it'll be landlocked.
Well, and right now, all we're doing is acknowledging that they submitted it.
Okay,
So we're not agreeing to anything.
okay, good enough. All right, thank you,
I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that I know we had talked about public comment, that we take public comment on new business
Okay,
before we proceed with the new business, if anyone has any comments they want to make. And then we can do non-agenda items at the end.
okay.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. That's what you take. Good job, it's good. Let me keep me in line. Okay, so, Michelle, are there any hands raised for that first item?
No. Oh, wait, yes, yes. Barry has his hand up. Hang on.
And perhaps since
Go
this is
ahead, Barry.
on, since we're talking about the new business items, and there's so many, it would help if you refer to the number when you ask the question.
Did you hear that, Barry?
Yeah, not exactly sure what she means by that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what your question is about, what number on the agenda, what
Well, I would
does
expect
it
we would be,
refer to?
we would be, I don't have the agenda in front of me. I don't have a printout because obviously I'm not there. But it's the one we're talking about now, which is an adjoining property to mine. I received a notice on it a while back. And of course, you guys are talking, but because you're there and there's nothing being shown on any type of screen on the property, it makes it kind of blind for anybody who's watching this meeting right now, which is fairly inconvenient. So tonight's discussion involves what? This is just that you're accepting the information and then it goes to the planning commission? What happens here?
We're acknowledging the receipt of the subdivision. That's it. We're just acknowledging that it has come into the township.
Okay.
No further action other than acknowledgement. John? Barry, hold on 1 second. John,
By the board accepting the application, it's the start of the MPC review period timeline. The next step is it goes to the planning commission for their review and action. That's all that tonight's meeting is. That's the official start date for the timeline set forth in the municipality's planning code.
Sure, I understand that. I don't even have any problems with it. I'd love to see this building be done, but my next question is, why is it a subdivision? They're not, are they dividing the property again? There's 2 lots there and they're just putting in a new business. Why is it a subdivision?
Barry, I think we'll have to wait for the reviews to find that out. We have acknowledged receipt. We have not reviewed it.
But you're referring to it as a subdivision. If you're referring to it as a subdivision, there's a reason for that.
Okay,
Well, there's 2 things here. There's subdivision / land development. So if the land is being developed, you can forget about the subdivision part of it and just deal with land development. They're both co-mingled just as a term.
well,
So we're
but
talking about, sure, please.
okay.
We're talking about land that's going to be developed. And there's 2 parts, thank you, and/or. So there's 2 parcels here. One of them is going to be developed.
Okay, so in that, so you don't know anything about if they're knocking down the building or
Nothing.
adding additions, you know nothing about that.
Nothing, we know nothing.
Okay,
Correct.
so all that goes to planning commission. Okay, that's all I want. Like I said, I'm happy for the people and I'm looking forward to it. I was just wondering because it seemed a little vague, as well as the letter that I received from the engineering firm from the township. So, okay, well, that answers that for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So you probably know more than we do because you got the letter.
It was very vague. There was almost nothing in it.
Any other comments on new business?
Michelle, anyone else?
I don't see anybody else with their hand up.
Okay, moving on. Number 9, authorize the advertisement for the modification to building code / ice shield.
I'll make that motion to authorize advertisement for modification of the building code regarding ice shields.
John has a comment.
John?
Yeah.
Chairman, this was brought to the administration's attention. A property owner came in to have his roof replaced, and he questioned why an ice shield was not part of the installation, and the contractor indicated it was not required. It is required in the statewide building code. However, the township's code does not. It had it pulled out for some reason. Don't know why, and we're just putting it back into the township building code.
Yeah, and this is a good thing. This
Yes,
is good.
sir.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Number 10, authorize advertisement of amendments to driveway ordinance. Do I have a motion?
I will make that motion that to authorize advertisement of amendments to the driveway ordinance.
And Dana seconds. John, would you give us some more detail to this?
I'll leave it in the engineer's hands. He
Oh, I'm sorry.
did most of that work.
Ed wrote it.
The former driveway ordinance was very vague and did not contain many standards for design and construction of driveways. So it put the township in a weak position when new driveways come in to be reviewed or existing driveways are maintained. So the Public Works Department and the manager asked to have the ordinance updated. So that's the purpose of this update, is to provide a driveway ordinance that's similar to other municipalities in the area, and it contains design standards, construction standards, and a full complement of normal driveway ordinance criteria.
Site distance?
Site distance is one of those. Things like site distance, drainage, grading within the township road right of way, things like that, that put the township in a better position to have well-designed driveways constructed.
Very good, thank you. Okay, had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Wait,
Oh,
we have a
I'm sorry.
comment.
Go ahead.
George has a comment.
George, I believe Mark's suggestion was we
Okay.
take all new
Can-
business comments before we got into the list that we can.
This is new business, right?
Suggestion, but
It's kind of hard, they don't know what the agenda is.
Well,
All right,
it's on the website, Dana.
my mistake, okay, but George will take your question now that you, go ahead, George.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I just quickly, didn't you just say that you, for new business, you would be taking questions?
That's what I thought I heard too, so I'm with you. But
well, no, I was suggesting if we do it all at once for all the new business items.
at the end of new business.
So at the
At the
beginning of the
beginning.
Beginning of new business.
But-
Oh, okay.
Many meetings do all of the comments on agenda items at the very front of the meeting.
Okay, my experience has been different, but I defer to your
I'm just-
knowledge here. Good.
Okay,
Okay.
wait, so which one are we doing? Now I'm confused.
We're dealing with number 10 currently.
And you are addressing George's.
Yeah, and that was
Driveway
George.
ordinance.
Yeah, so,
So
George, you
this
okay?
came,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
this came up at the planning commission initially, and there was a question about whether this would be, this ordinance, the new requirements in the ordinance would be triggered, when it would be triggered. And I don't know what state the proposal's in now, but there were some concerns that the wording said, among other things, that if you maintain a driveway or any portion of it, it shall be in accordance with the following, and then it lists the scope of what you have to do. And the question that came up at the planning commission was, what happens if somebody just puts new gravel on their driveway? Do they have to now fully conform to it? You know, at what level is maintenance become substantial improvement?
Did we clarify that, Ed?
Yeah, that was clarified. Ordinary maintenance is excluded. If it's substantial improvement, there's definitions in there, then it would require compliance.
Okay, is the ordinance, I guess I'd like to read what we're proposing, unless is that going to be posted?
Yes.
Where?
It'll be posted on the website and available later in the week.
Okay, I'll take a look at it
Alright.
then.
Yeah, okay, George.
Thanks.
Okay, let's try to get back on track here. So, in a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right, if Mark, if I can go back to what you had suggested originally, take all the questions on the new business right now. So I'm going to just delay for a little bit here. To the residents, to the audience, any questions on any items in new business, please raise your hand now.
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, seeing none, then we'll move on. Number 11, authorized advertisement for bids for the 2022 road program.
I make the motion to authorize the advertisement for bids for the 2022 road program.
I'll second that.
Then a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Number 12, authorized advertisement for paving of Kimberton Road, Shady Lane, Hilltop Road, and Cedar Mill Road.
I would be happy to make a motion to authorize advertisement for paving of Kimberton Road, Shady Lane, Hilltop Road, and Cedar Mill Road.
I will second that.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on, 13, authorized advertisement for bids for stormwater management improvements on Kimberton Road. Motion?
Sure. I make the motion to authorize advertisement for bids for stormwater management improvement on Kimberton Road.
I'll second that.
Then a second. John, I have a question here. What part of Kimberton Road are we talking about? Is it near the homes, which would be closer to Pewtown Road, or is it further down where the farms start?
It's from the Stone Arch Bridge to into Old Kimberton Village, practically to Pewtown, right?
Well, yeah, there was a project done on Town Road a couple of years ago. That project ended. It'll start there and it'll go up to the Stone Arch Bridge. It's a little more than a mile in length.
Yeah, okay.
Approximately where the Maxwell property fronts on Kimberton Road.
Oh, okay, from there back to, or into the village.
From there towards the bridge.
Okay, towards 113.
Okay, yeah, that needs to work. Very good, okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Number 14, authorized advertisement for bids for repair to Kimberton Road Bridge.
Speaking of the bridge, I make the motion to authorize advertisement for bids for repairs to the Kimberton Road Bridge.
I will second that.
And a second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, moving on. Adopt ordinance 196, approving change to building code.
So I'm just gonna, Mr. Chairman, I'm just gonna take that just slightly, because I think we should just offer an opportunity for anyone to comment just on the ordinance.
Okay.
Because we are considering it for adoption. The township had certain permitting requirements that had been deleted as part of the code. And what this ordinance does is bring the township in line with every other township that is part of the Uniform Construction Code, which is statewide in Pennsylvania. So we looked at the website, there were certain things that required permits. We want to take those permits away and just be consistent with everything else, and that's what this ordinance does. It's very simple. But I would just suggest that if anyone has anything they'd like to offer for public comment concerning the ordinance before you take action on it, this would be an appropriate time. So,
Can I entertain motions first and then?
Go ahead.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
Okay, I make the motion to adopt ordinance number 196, approving change to the building code.
I will second that.
Dana seconds. All right, so now we're going to open to the public.
Kirk has his hand up.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Okay, on the ordinance, you mentioned, just real quick, number 12. Are you not seeking advertisement for paving bids of Kimberton Road, Shady Lane, Hilltop? What's the difference between bids?
He's just gone back for.
Yeah, I know.
Pardon me?
Just the word was omitted from for the text.
Okay, fine.
Okay. All right, so do you have any questions for number 15? Kirk? No? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I think
We
I
already
did that
Oh, we
one.
did?
Yep.
so if there are no other public comments, if no one's making a request or raising their hand, then I would suggest.
Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah.
No
So,
other comments.
No
right,
other
Michelle?
comments? Okay.
I do not see anybody else with their hand up.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for keeping me straight. Okay. Aye. Number 16, adopt the employee manual. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion to adopt the township employee manual.
And I second it.
Dana seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 17, adopt township social media policy.
I make the motion to adopt the township social media policy.
And I second that.
Dana seconds, and all in favor?
Aye.
18, adopt township cybersecurity policy.
I will also make the motion to adopt the township cybersecurity policy.
Second that as well.
Dana second, all in favor? Aye.
We
I
have a
would-
question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Are we, okay. Kirk has a question here.
All right, go ahead, Kurt.
Yes, what is the social media policy and how come we haven't received that?
Because we're just adopting it.
Chairman of the committee, I think we'd like to know.
Kirk, what I was about to say before Bernie called on you was all three of these documents pertain to township operations and township staff. It does not say this is the policy for Kirk. So
I'm not saying,
it
hold on,
doesn't-
I'm not saying it's the policy for Kirk. I'm saying it's a harmonized policy among all the committees,
not yet.
not just my committees. Not yet?
That's what I'm telling you, but why you haven't seen it even as something that pertains to the employees of the township is we haven't adopted it yet. It will be available now because we're adopting all three of those things.
Okay, so this is only township operations, township personnel, social media.
John's
That's
thinking
correct.
about clarifying.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, John.
That's fine.
We
Okay.
have one
Go ahead.
more question.
Who's it from? Okay. Megan?
Megan.
Go ahead, Megan.
My question is,
Oh, hang on, Megan. I removed the wrong person. Oh, boy.
okay,
There you go.
okay. So my question was, are these policies and manuals, are they the same as what other townships have? I mean, they pass the scrutiny of legal compliance and such on free speech or employment at will or all that kind of stuff. Are these just standard agreements?
The all three have been reviewed by the township solicitor and the township's insurance companies. They're pretty standard. The cybersecurity policy and the social media policy were reviewed by the township's IT company as well. They're not out of the ordinary for municipalities to adopt. They all have been shared with the employees prior to the board taking action on them.
And I believe the employee manual is an update and the other two are new policies.
That's correct.
Very good. Does that answer, Meg?
Yes. Oops. Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Michelle, any others, please?
I don't see anybody else with their hand up.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I think we've done that.
We already did that.
It's okay.
Okay, we did it twice.
We can always vote extra.
Number 19, adopt collective bargaining agreement for the police officers.
I make the motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement for the police officers.
I second that.
With Dana second, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 20, authorized purchase of 7 laptops.
I make the motion to authorize the purchase of 7 laptops for the board meeting room, this room that we're in now.
I'd just like to ask about that.
Do you want to, did you second it
For
first?
double S.
I'm sorry?
You second it.
Okay.
double S.
All right. I
You
guess I'll
second,
second
right?
it.
Okay.
And it's your question for John?
Yes,
John?
John. I'd just like to ask if we, before we do purchase those, if we have gotten
I
by.
can't hear you, Dan.
I'd like to ask before we purchase that, if we have gotten buy-in from the committee members that would be using it, that, that will be a help and we will be able to efficiently attain the goal of trying to reduce the paper copies, and that will be a good way for everyone to move forward.
Dana, could you take your mask off and speak into the mic? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry.
I'm asking if before we make that purchase, if we can confirm with the committee members that will be utilizing these laptops, that this will be a good way for them to work forward, that they will buy into utilizing them versus the paper copies.
Yeah, we could do that. I think pretty much the primary user would be the planning commission because of the plans. They'd be reduced and it's easier to see the plan in front of you as opposed to craning your neck. Quite frankly, I don't see any other committees really taking advantage of it because their work is of a different nature. And their agendas are relatively small compared to the board's agenda and less paper intensive. Is that the right word to use? So it's mostly primarily for the board and would secondarily be used by the planning commission. I really, it'd be available for the other committees, but I really don't see them making use of it because they're such different different committees, their whole menu is different, so.
So in conjunction with that, Kathy, if I can ask you, how long does it take for you and or others in the office to prepare all of the paper that goes into these binders for each meeting?
For that, for
Yeah.
these binders, it takes me all day,
Takes you all day,
Mhm.
so,
copying and,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
all right. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. Authorize the purchase of a projector for presentations, something sorely needed for a long time.
I make the motion to authorize the purchase of a projector for presentations in the board meeting room.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. And we authorize the purchase of a large printer scanner.
I will make the motion to authorize the purchase of a large printer scanner. And by large, it means plan size.
So that's what, 3 foot by 5 foot?
Like a plotter printer, large format printer, printer scanner.
A large format planner scanner.
And I'll second that. And just, by the way, is it color or black and white?
Black and white.
Okay. Would we need color for anything else?
No.
No, okay.
Harder to maintain.
These plans, stacks of them
Yes.
are all black and white.
Very good. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay,
Where are they?
we're through the list, so we're up to public comment. So wait for a moment here and let people chime in for public comment.
George has comment.
Go ahead, George.
I guess I'd like to revisit this notion of taking questions all bunched up potentially. I mean, I don't think it's as efficient, honestly, because a lot of these items have a one or less than a sentence of description in the agenda. A lot of times they're presented at the meeting and a background is given. There's no way you can formulate a question without hearing that, or you may formulate a question that is part of the explanation. It just seems that, well, I mean, unless there's a problem, or is this just a webinar only thing? It seems like it flows a lot better the way we've been doing it at meetings forever. I mean, we went through 22 items today in 50 minutes. And I don't think, if we have to spend an extra 20 minutes taking questions, that's not terrible. That's just my feeling is.
Okay, thank you. Any others?
I don't see anybody else's hand up.
I did want to make mention of some openings on our committees. We currently have an open space on the EAC, the Sustainable Committee, and I believe there's one
Human
more open space
Resources.
as well. And
Human
Human Resources.
Resources.
Okay, so those three committees.
And
Anyone
possibly,
can hear me.
and possibly one more on the energy transition committee. So, thank you. And
Would you like a motion to adjourn?
I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will so move since I'm on a roll.
Okay,
And I will second that.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
everyone. Okay, thank you, Mark.
From Kirk says, okay. He says energy transition's always open.
Who said that?
Kirk. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kathy. And thanks whoever it is who's out there. Thanks for coming. Oh, Ed, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Kathy, I think you have to stop.